My name is Julian Schrenzel. I'm the president and CEO of DyNexus Recruiting and Staffing. You are an ERP or accounting professional who is open to the possibility of new opportunity. So I want to talk to you today a little bit about our program called Proactive Sourcing for Sage Intacct. And before I begin, I need to make a couple of definitions to kind of set the stage. You may have some semblance of a knowledge of kind of how it works, and you may be new to this. So I'm going to kind of set that stage. So I want to start by telling you what an ERP publisher is. So an ERP system is made by a company. That company then chooses either to sell it to customers, which is direct sales, or they choose to sell it through other companies. Those other companies are companies who exist simply to sell the product and to implement that product for the myriad of customers, the companies out there that use said ERP systems. My company deals in mid-market ERP systems, such as Sage Intacct, Acumatica, NetSuite. These are all mid-market ERP products. So I told you about those companies who exist to sell the ERP, and they are known as partners. And there's a whole bunch of them. There's a whole family of them, hence the name partner channel. So a channel, a whole bunch of companies that exist and that surround the publisher and sell the product and the services of that publisher. So as you may already know, since time immemorial, there has been a supply and demand problem inside of mid-market ERP. Namely, there's not enough talent to meet the needs of the channel partners who are selling the product and services of the ERP publisher. This has been true in every channel in the mid-market ERP products that I've known ever since the end of last century. They all deal with the same kind of problem, which is that those partners are starving, are dying of thirst for the talent they need to sell and to implement and support and develop upon those products. So proactive sourcing is a program that we began, and to my knowledge, it's not done by anybody, ever, anywhere. I think we're the first to do it. And it's a wonderful program, and I'm not biased, okay, I'm biased. But the program exists, and so here's how it happened. So we went to an ERP partner. Let's talk about Sage Intacct, because Proactive Sourcing for Sage Intacct is the program you're considering. So we went to Sage and, hey, Sage Intacct, we all know that all the partners out there are dying for talent, and they've always been dying for talent. And the only way that they can find the talent they think they need, which is they need someone with 3 to 5+ years implementing Sage Intacct as a consultant. And that's what they need. Well, the only way to find that person is by taking them from another partner where they already work. So they go out and they poach from another partner, and that partner gets really mad and poaches back. And then that partner gets mad again and poaches. So they all start taking each other's people. Oftentimes, this is where the recruiting company enters and starts to take people from Peter to pay Paul. And they start churning and burning, which internally rots a partner channel, and everything falls apart. And then, of course, the publisher does not benefit from that at all. And so it's a lame system, and it's got to be changed. So that's what my company has done. So we are in the business of finding great talent and bringing them into a channel. So in the case of Sage Intacct, for instance, Proactive Sourcing is a program where we engage directly with Sage. And Sage works with us in partnership. Now, we're not a partner of Sage, but we work in collaborative effort with Sage to develop a pool of candidates. A pool of candidates who are not already from the channel. They are from outside the channel. They have strong finance or strong accounting principle knowledge. They also are techie. They're familiar with ERP. They understand business processes and systems in certain industries. And they are interested. They are passionate about moving into a space that is like ERP consulting in the Sage Intacct space, in this case of this program. So what we are looking for in this program are candidates who are coming in from outside the channel, and they're bringing their passion, and they're bringing a drive to become the workforce of tomorrow for Sage Intacct partners. That is the program that you're looking at here. So when we are coming to you and vetting you, we are looking, do you have an understanding of basic accounting principles? Do you have a finance background? And I don't mean as a CFO or necessarily an accountant. Can you talk the talk with a CFO or a controller or a staff accountant? Can you read a balance sheet and know what you're doing? And in terms of the technology, I'm not looking for someone necessarily who has implemented ERP, though often I can find that person from other ERP systems. But even if you're not someone who has actually implemented ERP as a consultant, have you been an internal advocate? Have you been a stakeholder, a person inside of the company that was the tech person, the SME on the systems, who tended to help people, who tended to help train people on the new systems? You were the person to go to that had that technical know-how. Perhaps you came in and you really understood business and system processes. You really understood ERP from whatever you did in the past. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for that kind of person to be able to come into this channel and breathe life into it and to be that talent that serves the Sage Intacct workforce of tomorrow. So what does this process look like for you as a potential candidate taking part in the proactive sourcing for Sage Intacct program? Well, it starts with a conversation with one of my team members. We talk to you about your background, your history. Do you have that basic accounting background? Do you have the basic systems, ERP knowledge and background? And if you do, then we take it to the next step, which is then we ask you if you can take a look at your resume and look at it as if you are looking at it from the eyes of an ERP consulting company hirer. We want to see all of your experience that might resonate in the mind of someone who is looking for someone who's going to be very successful in representing that company, going out and implementing systems for another company. So we're looking for that resume that has all the resonant, relevant experience that would mean that that hirer could say, this person probably has the fundamentals. And once we have that all put together, the next thing we need is a great photo, a great image, a great profile image of you in which you are lit in the front so you're not dark. You have an engaging look about you, your face, you're open in your stance that's engaging and professional and open. So once we have that from you, we have a quick form for you to fill out, which basically just kind of gives us some basic information around what technologies you know and which ones you don't, and where your experience is in a couple different areas. That's the easy part. The last part we do, which no other company that I know of does, is we have a online resource where you log in and you create a very short video where you're simply answering 3 questions that we ask. Each answer is 45 seconds long, and you can redo them as much as you want so you feel happy about it. But basically the questions are, number 1, where are you, like city, state, and what is your, tell us something that you are passionate about. Doesn't have to be work related, could be work related, doesn't have to be, just something that lights you up. The second thing that asks is, how does your experience, your background resonate, and how would it fit into the job of a Sage Intacct ERP implementation consultant? How do you fit in that way? And the third question asked is, tell us something that you've recently learned about Sage Intacct that's interesting to you. And it allows you to give a chance to kind of share what you have learned more recently. It lets them see an insight into what sparks you have with the technology that you'd be working with. And once we have all those things, a good solid resume, a good profile, that form's all filled out, and you've done a great video, we then publish your profile onto our website, which is a blinded anonymous profile. So if you're working now, it's not going to out you, but it's a great looking anonymized profile that will allow us to promote you. And this is what's great about working with Sage Intacct, is because of our collaboration with Sage Intacct, we are co-working to co-brand and co-promote you out to 100 partners that are Sage Intacct partners. And we are going to share you and promote you and lead you through processes to open up opportunities with you with any number of all of the Sage Intacct partners across North America. So by the time your profile has been properly out there and we've promoted you, you should ideally be able to be fielding opportunities. companies will come and see your profile and say, I really like this person and I want to interview them. And then we would come to you and say, company XYZ has this kind of opportunity and they would really like to talk to you. Do you like what you see? Would you like to interview? In which case you might say, yes, would love to interview. And then from that point on, it's like a recruitment effort. We would help to facilitate those interviews. We would help to guide you to be successful and put your best foot forward through that whole process, all the way through job offer, compensation negotiation, and assistance with how to get that done right, all the way to the signing on the dotted line of your new job, your new career in Sage Intacct. So that's the process. And by the way, you will never pay anything. The money does not come from the candidate ever. There is no obligation to you. Should you not want to take a job for a company, should you not want to interview, whatever, there's no harm, no foul if it doesn't work for you. So you have complete freedom and autonomy, and you have everything to gain and pretty much nothing to lose that I can see. So there you are. Thank you again for watching this. I hope to see you in the program, and we really hope to be able to bring you your next opportunity through the program. Thank you very much.